The bests don't record that.
Hey guys, Eder with Guardian Arms, and if you're new to the channel, I am a firearms instructor. I was a firearms instructor in the Marine Corps for several years, and I moved on to being a firearms instructor for law enforcement. I am a law enforcement officer and a business owner. Some of you might notice Chris is new to our channel and new to Guardian Arms. Chris, can you please introduce yourself?
My name's Chris. I'm now working at Guardian Arms. I build guns. I am a competitive shooter. I've been doing competitive shooting for a better part of 6 years. Started in Steel Challenge, a lot of fast pistol shooting, moved on to 3-gun, now I'm doing long range rifle. Really happy to be here.
Awesome. So today's video is a one take. We're going to go through it pretty quick. We know you guys have short attention spans. Hey, we all do. So the faster we can get information across to you, the better. We did not script today. We just took down some notes and we figured we'd talk about red dots or dot optics.
So to define what we're thinking of as a red dot optic, the Google definition is a type of non-magnifying optical sight where the aiming point is projected onto a partially reflective sighting surface. What that means is there is glass you can look through, and on the other side of that glass, there is a dot that is your aiming point.
Pretty
Sound about right?
Yeah. And before we go forward, today's video is aimed at new shooters, new gun owners. Throughout the last year, there's been an influx in gun owners, and that's who we are targeting. So
what we're going to do, we're going to go through a few pros and a few cons. This is by no means a comprehensive list. If you have more pros and cons that you'd like us to know about or like other people to know about, make sure you tell us about it down below. So jump into pros. First pro, they're super cost effective.
Right, super cheap. You can pick them up for anywhere between about $115 on the low end to maybe an average of $500 on the high end.
That effectively puts the high end of red dots less than the low end of most scoped optics, which is a great place to be for most people, right?
Oh yeah. So moving on with the pros of a red dot. One of the pros is fast target acquisition. Traditionally, if you're using iron sights, you have to pick up that front sight, align it on the rear sight, keep eyes on your sights as you aim in at whatever you're going to take a shot at. Yep. Having a dotted optic alleviates most of that by simply putting the dot in front of your face as you focus on what you're shooting at and take your shot.
And speaking of focus, they also get that really good target focus that a lot of people want and they're looking for. And what that means is instead of focusing on a front sight or trying to pick up a reticle in a scope, you actually get to look at what you are aiming at and what's around it. So you get a lot more opportunity to see your target, what's around it, what's surrounding you, and generally get to shoot a lot more what they call heads up or a lot more attentive to what's going on, right?
Right. So generally both eyes open, wider peripheral, and since that we're a defense-oriented company, and one of the uses that you might have for one of these dot optics would be for home defense or defense of yourself. The wider peripheral that you have, the better, the more that you can see around you, like Chris stated. If I were to break that down really quick, imagine moving around with one eye closed as you go to scan versus both eyes open, dot in front of your face as you scan your area.
And the last pro that we're going to really cover here is there's a lot less moving parts in them for the most part. I'd also say that most red dots on a whole are probably a little more rugged than your average scope.
For the most part, yeah. In that $300 to $500 range, you really got to pay for what you get. Yeah. If you again, defense oriented, right? If you're going to purchase, a dot optic for a pistol and you're gonna, shoot for the $180, $200 range, you get what you pay for versus bumping it up a little bit to that $300 range. You get dot optics that can really take a beating. for home defense purposes or self-defense purposes, you really want something that's going to take a beating.
Which kind of moves us over into some of the cons of red dots. One of the biggest ones being there is a lot of, how do I say it lightly? There's a lot of crap on the market, right?
There is.
And a lot of people would associate that with a lot of cheap Chinese crap. However, not all things that are made in China are really cheap. For instance, Holosun, one of your favorite optics.
Holosun. When it comes to dots, I like Holosun, Swamp Fox, Trijicon are probably my top brands for carrying a dot. This Holosun 507K here is on the higher price point. Like I was talking about earlier, you take a dot that you paid a pretty penny for, it's going to put out. This dot here.
How many people would take a red dot and do what he's about to do to this? And then continue to carry that as your everyday carry piece. He's done it maybe, I don't know, 15 times since I've known him. Goes to the range, hits what he's shooting at every single time.
The zero or the calibration does not move. I probably should have stated beforehand, all firearms in front of us have been cleared, triple cleared, quadruple cleared. There is no live ammunition around us anywhere, so please, bear in mind that we were safe when we did this.
Sure. So moving on to number 2, which is there's no magnification, right? So another con, some people see this as a con, some people might see this as a benefit. The biggest con that I see behind it is if you want to reach out and touch something far away, it's going to be a lot harder to do with a red dot. You're going to have that 1x magnification or no magnification, and you really have to know your holdovers with your dot a little bit more.
Marksmanship comes into play. Knowing your holdovers and knowing your ballistics and all that is really going to factor in versus, again, the main goal of a red dot is to point and shoot. It's really, really, really simple.
Brings us to our 3rd and 4th con, kind of tied together, right? Is most red dots are battery powered. That some people say that could be a pro because you have power, you actually have a brighter aiming reticle than say a scope or iron sights. However, for the most part, I think it's a con. There is always that chance that you pick up your rifle to defend yourself or to go hunt. Maybe there's a dangerous animal you need to deal with. That you pick up that red dot and it just doesn't work.
It disappeared on you. It's not there. Yeah. That would definitely suck. Which means with most red dots, you have to have some kind of backup aiming device. If you go the high quality route, most red dot optics have about 40 to 50,000 hour battery life, which means you don't have to worry about it so often. Maybe check your battery once a year. Yeah. However, if you don't check your battery, the one time you don't is the one time it fails.
And then you got people like me who are overly cautious, and every time I change my clocks for daylight savings time, everything gets a new battery. So that might be a little overkill, but keeps my red dots working.
It's pretty smart.
Right.
So I think that's about it. A quick down and dirty for what a red dot optic is and why you should consider one.
And again, wasn't a comprehensive list. Let us know what your pros and cons are down below. Outside of that, we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.
See ya. All right, dude, get out of the way. I'm gonna record for the post. Bro, really?
It's fine. It's Trijicon.
You're an idiot.